Welcome to AMM 245, Consumerism, Impact and Issues, homework number 3, overview. So this homework assignment is homework number 3, it's your third one, and this is due week 7 on May 9th, 2018, which is a Wednesday at the beginning of class. So that would be 6 o'clock, okay, so right at the beginning of class. No late work accepted, so make sure that you turn that in and hard copy. So the requirements, you need a cover page that has the course title, homework title, your name. The font should be Times New Roman or something basic. I mean, it doesn't have to be Times New Roman. You can do Calibri or Arial or anything like that. But keep it typical, size 12, single space. You're going to have a spending diary. So it's going to be a table in Word or Excel. And you're going to answer questions 1 through 8. And you're going to give a conclusion. So you're going to summarize your responses and do a reflection, and you're going to include the grading criteria at the end, all stapled in your hard copy submission. So purpose is for you to understand that consumer spending is an expression of our values. By spending money on products and services, not only do you express our needs and wants, but also our social values, political beliefs, environmental consciousness, because we make choices. So the main purpose of keeping a spending diary is to encourage you to give more thought to the purchases that you make and be more aware, have more self-awareness, okay? So consider some of the issues that are associated with purchases. So like, do I really need the product or service? Why do I want it? Have I been influenced? Is it because I saw it on a, on a ad or a posting on Facebook or Instagram, or is it because my friend has it? Would it be better if I save my money? Is it something, should I buy something else instead? If you're paying with a credit card, will I have money to pay off the balance, etc.? Okay, so you can read all these, but these are oftentimes neglected or overlooked issues that are associated with purchases. So the fact is, many decisions are made without considering these factors. Okay, so very few people actually, if you take in a global perspective and you see the number of people that exist, very few people actually consider like environmental impacts, let's say on food purchases. Okay, so by asking ourselves some of these questions that sometimes are difficult because you typically don't ask yourself of this, you can be a wiser consumer. And maybe you already are. Some of you are already making these questions and checking, but maybe there's something you're overlooking. So this will be a good exercise for you to see your consumer patterns and spending patterns. So your spending diary is recording every dollar and cent you spend for one full week. So from Thursday, and in this case, April 26th, 2018, until Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, that's one full week. List every item you purchased, big or small, including any payments. So that means if you go to the vending machine, pumping gas at the, at the gas station, making a big payment, maybe it's automatic withdrawal, it doesn't matter, it gets recorded. It counts as a transaction. So even literally like a stick of gum would count, okay? So even if the transactions are really small, if you give a donation, also counts. I don't know, the Girl Scouts or something, and you give a donation, or didn't necessarily buy anything, but you gave a donation, you can put that on there because you're spending that money. Basically, you can keep an initial diary just on a piece of paper, a notepad if you want, or an informal table. So I have basically what you actually need to have is your item purchased and where it was purchased, the amount paid, and you round up to the nearest dollar. If you prefer doing the cents, you can, but it might be easier to round up to the nearest dollar. Form of payment, was it cash, debit, credit card, check, automatic withdrawal? I don't need any account numbers or what kind of credit card or what kind of debit card. I just need to know if you paid cash, debit, credit card, check, or automatic withdrawal. Okay, I don't want any more information than that. Okay, it's not an invasion of privacy. Why did you make that purchase? Okay, so sometimes you have to think and reflect back on it. That's why I recommend you can do something like this. Where you have the item purchase in the venue, the place, amount paid. So I just use myself as an example, amount paid, and form a payment debit. Okay, so that was my last transaction. So that could be an example of you can do that. Now, once you do that for the day, you need a total for each day and a grand total for the week. Okay, if you'd like, you can also do something like this and just expand on this with the categories I'm asking for. But see, you can have it kind of in this format. So you just put the date here, the day, the item, amount spent, and then basically doing the category. So that's what I was talking about. So if there's certain categories that you spend more on like entertainment or school supplies or food, maybe it's food. Food tends to be a big one for college students. So that could be a category, and you notice that that takes up more of your money than other categories. So you can use something like this if you like, or basically stick with the one I gave you and just make it nice and pretty. But that's basically the information that we need. So you just need to add the totals and the grand total for the week. Again, round to the nearest dollar unless you absolutely need to show the cents. That's fine, but that just would make it a little harder on you. And basically consider again, why you made those purchases. So you're going to answer the following. About what percent of your expenditures do you consider to be necessities? Note, how you define necessities is up to you. Okay, so if you're like, it's a need, not a want, then you decide. You're the one that's calling the shots here. You decide what's a need or a want. I know I've discussed in class that you blur the lines a little bit, but we're talking about you. So you decide what's a need and what's a want. Okay, do you buy anything you can't really afford right now? How much of your expenditures are made using credit cards, and will you pay off the balance at the end of the next billing cycle? If not, you can also say when you think you could pay off the balance, so like in 2 or 3 months. Which expenditure do you think you could have gone without? And after identifying that, what alternatives may have existed for your purchase, such as buying a cheaper brand or a used item or modifying something you already had? So not buying something at all, or, buying like generic, like a private label, or maybe a more simple version of whatever it is. That could be something without all the bells and whistles. That could be something as well. How many of your expenses do you think are influenced by advertising or other social pressures? How many of your purchases would you classify as status items? May not be any, maybe just a couple. Okay, what do you think is the overall environmental impact of your purchases? Which purchases do you think cause the most environmental damage? So look at packaging. Think about overall how, just from what we discussed and what you've researched on your own, how much you think things are made. Overall, what, obviously you're doing an estimate here, but think of packaging and transporting, all that. What social impacts do you think your purchases have? For example, how do your purchases influence workers' wages and conditions around the world, possibly? Which purchases provide you with the most satisfaction? Do you buy anything that you regret? Did you buy anything that you regret buying? Any insights from this diary? Any eye-openers? Why or why not? And then you're going to provide an overall conclusion to the above questions. So you're basically going to re-summarize and end it with a reflection. Okay. So again, format cover page, spending diary table. It could be in Excel or in a table in Word. Questions in order assigned. Please number them and please answer them in order. Grading criteria stapled together, hard copy only. And this is a grading criteria because it's as simple as it's going to get. So it'll have points possible, your score, and comments, and I can write comments below that. Okay. So if you have any questions, please do email me. And happy spending. Just be honest. Like, I don't want to put that on there. You're not going to get anything out of this if you don't put your actual transactions so you can reflect on them. So just be honest and let's see what you come up with. All right. Thanks for listening.